You have the Vortex J24 and you are having all sorts of problems getting it to power on. Here's a couple things to check before you give up and throw it in the trash. Alright, the first thing I want you to check is the back cover. On the J24, the back cover comes off to change the battery, SIM chip, SD card, and sometimes if you don't click it all of the way, like right there, it kind of can't tell. There you can with the light right there. But just go ahead and squeeze all the way around. Make sure that the back cover is closed all the way because the power button is embedded in the back cover. All right, and that leads us to the next thing to check. All right, because this is the old style of phone, the buttons here, there's a button on the phone itself right here. You can make sure that that has a good click. Let me get that closer here. It clicks correctly. It just goes in a little bit, pops right out. And the other thing to check is here's the power button on the back case. Make sure you don't have gunk here, and especially make sure you don't have gunk or dirt or dust build up here. If you do, you can get an old paintbrush. This is an old watercolor brush or something, and then you just clean it up like that. It's that easy. All right, let's move on to the next thing to check. So we have our phone open. Let's check the health of the battery. We want the battery to be flat. And this doesn't have any white liquid indicators, but we can double check to make sure there's no corrosion here on this side of the batteries or here on this side of the batteries. Make sure there's no other signs of moisture that have gotten here. Now, if you want to know what a failing battery looks like, this is a battery to something else, another device, but it starts to get puffy, the seams start coming out, and it can keep your phone from charging and powering on. All right, let's move on to the next thing to check. The next thing to check is your power brick and your power cord. Sometimes, unfortunately, they just fail for no reason. So what you can do is just get the same kind of power. This is a USB-C. Borrow a friend's or use a different device's cord and brick. And sometimes the brick might be dead, so you can just change out the brick and then still use your cord and vice versa. All right, let's move on to the next thing to check. The next thing to check is to make sure that your charging port is not filled with gunk, dust, and goo, especially if you have a cover of any sort. Covers tend to make it collect dirt a lot easier. Let me show you the trick I use to get those to clean up. I have in 20 years of recycling phones and fixing phones, I use a sewing needle, so a very small sewing needle, and I'm super gentle. So there are electronics in here that you can scratch, gouge, and bend. Some people say look for a plastic sewing needle. Sure, you can do that. And then you just very gently scoop out any dirt or dust that's keeping your phone from charging. Okay, after we've checked all those, push the power button and see if we get power, and we do. Hopefully this has helped you. If it has, please like, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.